Hey folks, this is Rainiac, and this is week 8/9, the final week in fact, of the softwarefilmsexy.net Let's Play Olympics 2, the confusing return to numbers. And this week's game is Super Mario RPG, but with a few devilish twists thrown in, just like ActRaiser last week. As you can see, we're in Monstro Town, and our task this week, should we choose to accept it, is to take on and defeat, if possible, the two optional bosses found in Monstro Town, that's Jinx and Culex. But there's a few caveats thrown in. First of all, Fat Kakashi has been an absolute devil, and he has stripped us bare of all the equipment. So we have to run around the overworld, visiting shops and buying it all back. Here in Nimbus Land, for example, I'm going to pick up the Mega Glove, the fuzzy shirt and the fuzzy dress. You can probably guess my party, but I'm not going to reveal it just yet. And then something we don't need, like this star egg, the bright card, the seed and the fertilizer, the fright bomb, the pure water. Because where we're going, we don't need no lazy shells. No sir. So negative points this week, one of which directly pertains to items. I'll go for the negative points first and then the achievements. Negative point 1. There are 3 items in this game which I'm not going to directly reveal just yet, although having said that, I kind of just did let the cat out of the bag accidentally. If we use them, then you're going to lose 1 point and also take a big hit on your style score. By the way, this guy in Moleville, he sells you mystery items. We don't want the mystery egg, but the metal plate, that's a frying pan, and that'll be very handy indeed. And this Mama Mole, she has the work pants, and we're going to want them as well. As I say, if you use any of these items, not only are you going to lose a point, but it's also not going to reflect well on your style score. And given how close this contest is in the top 3 is going into the last 2 weeks, because the scores haven't actually been announced yet for the ActRaiser videos, I'm taking no chances. I'm taking this fight with Rort and Fresno to the goddamn wire. Now we're in the Tadpole Pond, where normal currency doesn't work, you need frog coins. Thankfully, Fat Kakashi gave us 32. More than enough to stock up on these crystallines. The use for which is not going to be immediately apparent, but trust me, you're going to need them if you want to take on one of these 2 bosses and live to tell the tale. So now that we've got all our equipment, we're moseying on back to Monstro Town. I nearly forgot the name of the location there. That would have not been good. And now, up this stairs is the first of our 2 bosses, Jinx. But before we take him on, let's equip all the lovely stuff that we just bought, and also reveal my party. No price for guessing that Toadstool replaces Mallow to give us Mario, Bowser, and Toadstool, or Peach, I'll probably refer to her as Peach, as our party of 3. Bowser gets the Spike Link for his weapon, the work pants, and I give him the Zoom shoes. Mario gets the Mega Glove, the fuzzy shirt, and the Ghost Medal. And Peach, as you'll see in a minute, gets the frying pan for her weapon, the fuzzy dress for her armour, and I give her the amulet, at least for this battle, for her accessory. And now that all the equipping is done, we can get straight down to brass tacks and take on the first boss of this run, Jinx. Now you can actually fight Jinx 3 times throughout the game. Fat Kakashi has already beaten Jinx once, leaving us to deal with the second and third fights. The second fight with Jinx is not that difficult at all, as long as you know about time hits. What are time hits? Well, as every fan of Super Mario RPG will tell you, whenever you're attacking or defending, if you press the button at a certain time, then you'll hear a sound, just like that with Peach's group hug there, or your character will go into a little block animation as you see on Jinx to Jinx attack. Jinx to Jinx. Try saying that when you're drunk. And you'll take less damage or do more damage, or in the case of group hug, gain more health. As I say, this is not a difficult fight for the first one, just wail on him with your regular attacks, and if you're low on health, just have Peach do the group hug. She's a designated healer, or the Paula, or white mage of this little group. Mario's a designated attacker, and Bowser, not so much in this fight. In this fight, he's my secondary attacker, and also user of items, although that won't really come into play until Culex. The thing about Jinx is he's kind of similar to another character in a Mario RPG, Paper Mario, the Master. Not to be confused with ActRaiser's the Master, or indeed Doctor Who's the Master, and just like that, Jinx goes down for the count. But he's not beaten because he has 1 more match left in him, and this one is a little tougher. But seeing as I never back down from a challenge, at least not when it comes to video games, I am more than up for giving Jinx a rematch. Even when he starts with his new attack bombs away, fires a Kamehameha that presses his face, and thank God for me that it missed, because that would have killed us stone dead otherwise. You can block bombs away and you can block Quicksilver, but the timing on both those attacks is very tricky. For bombs away, if you hit the button just before it hits you, you'll block it and do less damage. For Quicksilver, you actually want to hit the button a second or so after he's hit you. It's kind of hard to explain to you. It's much easier to just do it. Time hits in this game are easier to do and feel than to explain to someone else. Except for that one, which is self-explanatory. Mario's attack, you just press the button when you hit him. You can also do timed action commands on things like therapy and group hug. If you press the Y button just as the healing is finished, then you'll hear a noise indicate you've done it right, and you'll heal more damage. Also, messing up the time hit there with Bowser. It doesn't hurt me too much at this juncture. My strategy here is simple. Attack with Mario and Bowser, and Peach if he doesn't hurt you. Now he does Valor up, which increases his defense. I think it doubles it. Nothing too much to worry about, it just means the fight's going to take a little longer, but we have plenty of time. We had 15 minutes for the start of the Jinx fight. And without going into spoilers, it's not going to take nearly that long to beat Jinx. He's tough. He's a tough boss for this level of the game you fight him at, because we're only at level 20, so we're under-leveled. If you were at, say, level 30 or higher and had better items, he would be an absolute cakewalk, even in the third battle. But here, he is a decent challenge. He's not difficult, but he's not easy. And there's also certain items I would have loved to have equipped to these guys, like, I don't know, the items that you get in the Barrel Volcano or Bowser's Keep, but I couldn't do that, because the other negative achievement point was that you can't level up except in boss battles. And both the Barrel Volcano and Bowser's Keep have battles that you cannot skip, you cannot run away from them, so I couldn't go and get the items within them. And this is his other attack, Silver Bullet. If you time that right, you will block it and you won't take any damage. If you time it wrong, you'll either die, or if you half-ass time it, you'll take... Oh, that's not good. Peach is dead. But fortunately, we can finish the rest of the fight without her, because Jinx is nearly dead, Mario's nearly at 1 HP, making this just a little bit hairy. But fortunately, one more Bowser timed hit. Fortunately, what the hell is that? And Jinx surrenders. And that is an achievement. We beat one boss. The other achievements are to use a certain configuration of party members, which, without going into too much explanation, because I don't want to give it away to the other contestants, I think I've done. And the other one is beat both bosses. Was I able to achieve that? You'll just have to wait and see. And a reward for defeating Jinx is the Jinx Belt. Hopefully his trousers don't fall down around his ankles, because that would be really embarrassing. And we're going to take our shiny new Jinx Belt and equip it to Mario. You can give it to anyone, but I give it to Mario. I give the True Form pin to Peach, for reasons that will become obvious a bit later on, and give her amulet to Bowser, because it's quite useful for him and it raises all of his stats. Now our second boss is just inside this door here, inside the Swirling Dark Vortex. This is Culex, the Dark Knight of Vander. Now in order to access this door, because initially it's locked, you need a shiny stone, and to get the shiny stone you need to go to Moleville, complete certain tasks, and then pay 500 coins and you'll get the shiny stone, and then you can battle Culex. Now Culex gives this little speech about being matter and antimatter, and you can see our past and our future, and unmentionable power, and unlimited rice pudding, etc, etc. And then the battle begins with these 4 crystals jumping in to support Culex. These things are annoying. They have no physical attack, but they have powerful magic attacks. You want to get rid of the wind crystal first, and it's weak to jumping, so just have Mario do a super jump. I think I got like 19 or 20 off there. I was really pleased with that. And then these crystal lines. This is why they were so damn useful, so damn important getting them in the tadpole pond, because they increase your defense. And at this low level, if you don't increase your defense, you're going to get murderized in 3 turns by Culex and his crystals. The Bowser Crush is a nice attack because it hits everything for a good amount of damage. And this is why the Wind Crystal is such a bitch, and you want to get rid of it first, because it has annoying attacks like Petal Blast, which will turn you into a mushroom, unless you have the True Form pin equipped, and thank you Princess Peach for having it, because it protects you from being mushroomized, or turned into a scarecrow as well. The other crystals will back him up, the crystal is not a man, goddammit, will back up Culex with attacks like Water Blast and Flamestone. The green crystal also has Static E, which is a rather weak attack. A rather interesting fact about that: when this game came to the Virtual Console in 2008, they were so worried that attacks like that and also Firewall would cause epileptic seizures in certain kids. They actually changed the effect and took all the white out of it, so it was just a blue solid wall as opposed to a blue and white flash. I can't see this attack they also changed because they were frightened of seizures because they didn't want to get sued, I guess. My strategy here is quite simple. Mario is the primary attacker and begins by jumping on the Wind Crystal. Oh, and that move, Shredder, is an absolute bitch. Every time Culex does that, it will nullify any and all items like stat buffs you've equipped, and that includes crystallines. So every time it does that, make sure you put the crystallines back on, or again, you're going to get killed. Another annoying thing about the Wind Crystal, it can counter-attack. It can choose to counter-attack after you hit it. So you really want to take this thing out first. Peach's role in this fight is the main healer, to do group hug after every turn, and because of Shredder I had to put crystalline back on. And there is an example of what's called getting a freebie with your items. I used to think this was totally luck-based. It turns out it's not. If you press the item button at a certain point for each item, for example for that one, it's as the last arrow hits the last party member and disappears, you will get a freebie and you will get that item back. Very useful because you're going to need all the crystallines you can handle for taking on Culex and his crystals. Culex also has a physical attack, as you saw there. It's completely... I don't know if it's unblockable, but it's really hard to defend against because there's no animation, you just get hit by it for 74 damage. And again, a really nice super jump on the Wind Crystal. You want to take on the crystals in the following order. Take them out. Green, which is wind, blue, which is water, fire, which is red, and then earth, which is yellow, and then Culex is left alone to fend for himself. Another way to remember it is to take the buttons on a Super Nintendo controller and go clockwise from the Y button. And here I pop a red essence onto Mario. This is a really useful item that makes you invincible for 3 whole turns, and given that Mario's my primary attacker, and getting a freebie doesn't hurt either, given that Mario's my primary attacker, I decided to put it on him. And I think that decision really paid off. The red crystal has Drain, which is a very basic attack. It's kind of weird, some of the attacks these crystals have, and Meteor Blast, not good. This is cool, it's sort of signature attack along with Dark Star, which I don't think he used for the entire fight. And now I'm running low on fire points, on flower points, which isn't good, so I had to use a regular jump on this crystal. And he countered with Static E, of course. Protect your kids from seizures, people! Fortunately, I prepared for just this occasion, and had 3 Colas on standby. Well, I say I had 3 Colas on standby. I could have got some more, but I already had 3 in the inventory given to me by Fat Kakashi, and I didn't need any more. And I do love the Bowser Crush. It wrecks my finger trying to smack the Y button so damn hard, but I do like the Bowser Crush. I also like the fact that the red essence just allows Mario to completely breeze through this next lot of attacks, taking no damage, and that was the reason I did it, because if he were to die, then the Wind Crystal would probably have killed my other 2 party members, and it would have been game over. This was by no means my first take on Culex, I will admit that right now, and again, Shredder, god damn it, tonight he dines on Mario Soup. This was by no means my first take through the game, okay? But just hold that thought, because, as I say, jumping on the Wind Crystal because it's weak to jumping, it has the worst health out of all the crystals, which is another reason to take it out first. It only has 800 HP, but it has 200 defense to balance it out. But it's out of here, and now we can actually get going with the other crystals. Once the Wind Crystal's out of the way, this fight becomes marginally easier. Culex can still kill you if you don't pay attention, but he is a lot easier now. And I kind of expected to get a freebie there because I thought I'd done the command perfectly. Turns out I hadn't. As I said, magic attacks you cannot block. Now, do you remember the amulet we stuck on Bowser? That's actually... I was actually very grateful that the red crystal decided to do Drain and Mega Drain on Bowser, because the amulet protects him specifically from attacks like Drain. So now our attack switches to the Water Crystal, which for some reason, in a great irony, is weak to fire, so you use Super Flame against it, another one of those attacks where you mash the Y button until your fingers bleed, but it's worth it. And again, Peach healing up. As I say, plan of attack, Mario to attack, Peach to heal, and Bowser to attack second or to use an item if needs be. And I do love the giant demented Mecha Koopa animation for the Bowser Crush. I do like a lot of the animations in this game. It's a really good RPG, which is why I'm annoyed that when it first came out in 1996, one of the last games for the Super Nintendo, Europe didn't get it. Seriously, we had to wait all the way into 2008, August 2008, to play this game because there was never an official power release till the Virtual Console did it. Come on, Nintendo and Square Enix, pull your damn finger out. But by and large, I'm actually really proud of this particular run. As I said, not the first run I did. There were a lot of failed takes. It may not be the most original strategy in the world, but it works for me, especially when you're under-leveled. I mean, traditionally you'd be at least level 30 before taking this guy on, and it'd be easier. He's still the hardest boss in the game, by many people's account, but it'd be a lot easier. So, even though in some respects I'm abusing items, and I don't believe I am abusing items, I just believe I'm using them rather cleverly, I feel this is a legitimate strategy for level 20, and as I say, I'm really proud of the way this turned out. I'll just go quickly through the stats of the other crystals. The water crystal is weak to fire, as I say, has 1800 health points. The fire crystal is weak to ice, and another bit of irony, and has 2500 health points. And the yellow crystal is weak to thunder, again, go figure, Pokemon this game ain't, and has a whopping 3,200 life points, but to balance it out, has the worst defense of the 5 of them, so it's easier to take down than it would seem. And also, if the fight goes on for long enough, both Culex and his crystals can run out of flower points, and if the crystals run out of flower points, they are absolutely useless because they have no physical attack. Culex can still attack you, but the crystals are reduced to window dressing. Culex himself has 4,096 HP, which is the square root of 64, which is either a very subtle reference to the Nintendo 64, which is possible in 1996, because as I said, this was one of the last games to come out for the console, or it's just a huge coincidence and I'm blowing smoke out of my arse. Take your pick. Interesting thing about Culex, despite the fact that he is clearly a reference to Final Fantasy, common misconception is that he actually was in a Final Fantasy game. He never was. And also in his introduction, he refers to himself as the Dark Knight of Vander, and his master as being the Dark Mage. I think that's meant to be the Black Mage, but again, I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy fan in the world, and I'm not hugely clued up on that series. And there goes the Water Crystal by the way, making this a lot easier. I'm not hugely clued up on the Final Fantasy series, but I believe that Vander is also never referenced in any Final Fantasy game, but any Final Fantasy fans out there, please feel free to tell me that I'm wrong. Instead, Culex seems to be a general nod to the Final Fantasy series, mostly Final Fantasy IV. In fact, his name Culex, in a cool bit of trivia, is the Latin for mosquito. Just as Golbez, one of the main antagonists, in fact the main antagonist of Final Fantasy IV, is Latin for fly. And now you know, and I'm not going to make that reference, don't worry. So as I said, I think he's just an homage / reference to Final Fantasy in general rather than a specific character. And using Shredder again because, you know, he just wants to drag this fight out even longer. I will just tell you right now, because you've probably guessed by the fact that there's less than a minute to go, I do not beat Culex by the time the 19 minutes are up. I do beat Culex later on. This strategy does work. It has worked several times. It just takes a long time, hence why we're out of time. So that's it for Week 8, and indeed the entire contest of the Let's Play Olympics 2, the community returned to numbers. It's been an absolute blast, and he finished it with Meteor Blast. The timing on that was perfection. It's been an absolute blast. So until the next contest, I've been Rainiac. Sayonara.